guys, so Masons played an important role in the growth of Columbia, so let's talk more about them. The Masonic Hall is an open exhibit which you can visit in the town of Columbia in California in the United States. Though the lodge didn't last that long, it has an interesting history. Following a major fire in 1854, the Columbia Lodge of the Masonic sought a new location. The opportunity came when Freemason Colonel C.K. Gillespie decided to construct a two-story brick building at the corner of Washington and Broadway streets. The Masonic Hall was to occupy the top floor while a business would lease the ground floor. By January 1855, the Masons held their first lodge meeting here. Lodge membership declined in the late 1800s, and in 1891, Columbia Lodge No. 28 was closed and consolidated with the Tuolumne Lodge No. 8. The building was sold to a fellow Mason, Gilbert G. Meade, who promptly tore it down to mine the ground beneath it. Between the gold recovered and the sale of the building's bricks, Meade reaped several $1,000s from the deal. 90 years after gold was discovered, Columbia's population dwindled and manned buildings began to crumble. But its picturesque setting and old buildings held great potential for a new industry, tourism. Columbia was incorporated into the California State Park system in 1945. Soon after, the Masonic Grand Lodge of California spearheaded the effort to rebuild the Masonic Hall at its original location. The 1850s were the boom years for Columbia. Many members of the Columbia Lodge were instrumental in the town's success, owning key businesses or holding public office. In 1861, the Civil War and the declining gold mining altered Columbia's makeup. Some Masons joined the Tuolumne Home Guard, others fought in the war, and some left in search of better prospects. Now let us meet some of its key figures. Amos Biddle. Arriving in Columbia in 1860 amidst the town's exodus, Amos became postmaster in 1873 and owned a store. But his time was brief. By the next year, he sold his belongings and departed. While in Columbia, he held the role of senior steward in the lodge. Paul Bixel. Born in 1846, Bixel started a new era in Columbia. A brewer by trade, he established the Columbia Brewery. Despite its brief 4-year run, his life ended prematurely at 43 in 1889. He held roles as both junior and senior deacon in Columbia Lodge. John Duco. From Massachusetts, he reached Columbia in 1852, steering clear of mining to become the editor of the Columbia Gazette and the later founding of the Tuolumne Independent. Duco held the distinction of being the longest-standing member of the lodge, joining in 1855 until its closure in 1891, when it merged with the Tuolumne Lodge. Peter Ferguson. A Pennsylvania merchant who migrated in California in the early 1850s. He partnered with Samuel H. Ingersoll to buy a downtown block and establish Ferguson Saloon. Within the lodge, he held the roles as treasurer and junior steward. David Jackhurst. He was a merchant who owned D.S. Jackhurst & Company, acquired the building housing the Columbus Saloon in 1854, and retained it as a rental property for 12 years. He held the position of junior steward in Columbia Lodge. Sewell Knapp. Unlike most of his fellow Masons who tried mining, Knapp actually struck it rich. In a 3-day period, he mined $118,000 in gold nuggets, becoming one of the wealthiest Columbians. He built a sawmill, then a general store, and for 50 years, his general store was the premier supply center in the region. He also held many public offices during his life. Albert Levitt. In 1855, Levitt and Robert Towle purchased the Bean Building, a one-story brick structure in the heart of Columbia. He opened a dry goods and clothing store. Eliab Ward Shaw. He was a member of the lodge in the 1850s. His success as a grocer allowed him to purchase the McChesney Building, a key structure in the heart of the town. Shaw enlisted in the U.S. Army on the set of the Civil War and was discharged a year later. Isaac Levy, Columbian merchant who owned a barber shop and a saloon, which was destroyed in the 1863 fire. Levy belonged to Columbia Lodge No. 28 and served as both junior steward and junior warden. Tyrone Milton Yancey served in the U.S. Army before moving to Columbia in 1852. He briefly tried mining but became a printer and partner in the Columbia Gazette. At the same time, he served as deputy sheriff and later was twice elected sheriff of Tuolumne County. He served as junior deacon in the Columbia Lodge. Masons have championed many great causes throughout history, but perhaps none as far-reaching or as personal as public education. Masons started some of the first public schools in the U.S. and advocated for legislation to help make education accessible to everyone. California Mason John Sweet is commonly referred to as the father of the California public school system. As California Superintendent of Public Instruction in 1862, Sweet organized teachers' institutes, established a teacher certification system, won support for school taxes, revised school law, and provided for textbooks in the public schools throughout the state. Public education was heralded as an important cornerstone to the town of Columbia as the school represented growth and sustainability. The Columbia Masonic Lodge shared this vision for the town and participated in the building ceremonies by laying the cornerstone on May 9, 1858, and dedicated the building to the cause of education on November 1, 1858. So that's it for the history of the Columbia Masonic Hall and the locals who played an important role during its course. Until next time, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Bye! If you like our videos, please click thumbs up for like.
Hit the bell to subscribe!
Please comment.
And don't forget to share!